Hello everyone, I'm Dhruv Advani. I obtained All India Rank 5 in NEET 2023 and I'm currently a student in AIIMS New Delhi. Today I'm here to talk about how I built discipline and self-motivation for NEET, about how to handle pressure and how to stay calm during your exam times. So first I'll start with discipline and self-motivation. Now for me, a lot of this has been very intrinsic for my entire life. The motivation for medicine, I will say this, has to come from within yourself. You cannot do it because someone else wants you to. You cannot do it because your parents will be happy or people around you will be happy. You can only do it if you want to do it. You need to want to do it more than anything else. Okay. And I mean, for me, the motivation has always been intrinsic. I've always been happy that I have the pleasure of learning what I'm able to learn and that I will eventually have the opportunity to save people's lives. And I mean, you have to want it from within. There is no one else who can tell you कि अच्छा बेटा medicine कर ले, अच्छी life बनती है, all of that. I mean, that is definitely true. But unless you want to do medicine, you enjoy it, you truly care about other people, there's not much point in becoming a doctor. All that will happen is you'll exhaust yourself, you'll stress yourself out. So motivation, and there are ways to get you motivated. I mean, I personally never looked at possible colleges because I was afraid I'd create an expectation for myself. But I have a lot of friends who had a particular college in mind and they'd paste that college on their wall and like that would motivate them ki, okay, I want to go here, so I have to work hard. Or yeah, any other kind of motivation, seeing good marks in your mock exams, that might motivate you to continue preparing as much as you can. Or seeing bad marks, conversely, there are negative forms of motivation and positive forms of motivation. But at the end of the day, you should be sure that I want to do this. It doesn't matter what anyone says, I'm going to do it because it's for myself. And that is the best form of motivation, honestly, that you need to make up yourself. Coming to discipline, discipline comes from a plan, and for me it's always been easiest to do a reward based system rather than a punishment based system, where if I accomplished what I wanted to, I would treat myself a little. So that creates sort of a positive feedback loop. I'll want to study, I will want to do what I need to do, whatever I need to finish, because at the end of it I know I will get something else also that I want. So along with motivation, discipline, you can utilize external factors. The reward system has worked very well for me. And I personally don't like the punishment system that much, where if you don't do something, you take away something from yourself or something like that, because it just makes studying more of a chore for you. So it's better to have like a system where you enjoy yourself after you finish something you want to do. You give yourself a reason, like you give yourself joy at the end of something, the satisfaction of completing a task along with the joy of doing something else that you really want to do. So discipline is very important during NEET because fundamentally it is an exam about, it is like NEET prep is based on consistency. If you are consistent, if you prepare well, if you continue preparing throughout the 2 years, you will undoubtedly do really well. All right. Now I'll come to handling exam pressure. This is a topic that I find very, very important because this is where I find a lot of people go wrong, and there's a lot of potential to go wrong, even if you're the most intelligent person in the universe. It's very easy because you're writing an exam where you have very little time, where you have a lot that you've studied and a lot is riding on it, right? It's very easy to build it up in your head and be like, oh my god, agar ye exam nahi hua to life hi khatam ho jayegi. But it's not एक क्वेश्चन नहीं आया तो एक ये कॉलेज खत्म हो गया, ये कॉलेज नहीं जा पाऊंगा, if I get this wrong I won't be able to go to this college or something like that. But it's very important to depersonalize yourself from all of this during the exam, because what you realize is, as you keep practicing writing more and more exams, is that everyone is in the same boat. Everyone is writing that same exam, everyone is equally as prepared, or maybe there will be small disparities in preparation, but most of the time it is the manner in which you handle the paper that is what is the deciding factor. So you need to be calm and composed, and for me that came purely through practice, because I'd written so many exams. I knew ki if I don't know a question also, it's fine. I mean, I'll move on, I'll skip that question, I'll come back to it, I'll think on it later. And that is very important because for us, there were a few questions that I got confused on, especially assertion reason type questions. I didn't like those and I stumbled on those. But I didn't allow myself to panic. I was like, it's all right. Even if I don't get it, it's fine. I'll move on. And another thing that helped me in handling exam pressure is just before the exam. Like throughout the 2 years, I was like, I have to do well, I have to get full marks, all of that. But before the exam, 1 month before the exam, I started telling myself, it's fine. Even if I don't get 720, even if I don't get 600 also, it's not the end of the world. I will do my best. That may or may not be the best, but I have to try my best as far as I can do. And that really helps because it takes away some of the panic that can happen when you're like, oh, I don't know one question. Oh my God, I'm gone. I can't get AIMS Delhi. So now there's no point of me writing. And then you'll mess up 20 other questions or anything like something like that. So it's very important to be calm and to tell yourself it's all right to do bad. You just have to try your best. All right. Whether or not that's the best, it doesn't matter. But you did everything you can do. So at the end of the day, you should be satisfied that you have done whatever you could do. And again, positive self-talk plays a very important role in handling pressure. Another thing that really helped me was talking to other people, creating a support system. And I'm lucky my parents and my friends all were very open to me talking about all of this. I could always approach them with any issues I had. But it's very important to build a support system, whether it's external, whether you're talking to other people, or you keep a journal or something else where you're just able to remove the thoughts from your head. Because the longer you keep something bottled up, it'll keep building up in your head, becoming more and more overwhelming. So I find it very important to just externalize any thoughts you might have. Even if it's the most mundane of things, it's just best to talk about it or write about it or do whatever you need to do to get it out of your mind and to de-stress yourself. And another thing is, I want to talk about not just exam pressure, but pressure during preparation. Because when you're preparing for an exam, a competitive exam like NEET, there's a lot of pressure from all sides. You have your parents who have some expectations from you, your classmates, your school, your teachers. Everyone will have some amount of expectations from you, and you're trying to do the best you can, and you're trying to satisfy your own expectations also. So it can get overwhelming and very scary at times, but it is again very important to talk to people. Of course, this also helps at the ultimate time during the exam. It will also help with exam pressure because you know that there are people who love you, who care about you, and who do not care how this exam goes. Like fundamentally, even if you do very bad, if you don't get a medical college, or you like if you're not able to write the exam at all, it doesn't matter to those people because they will love you regardless. And that is something you have to tell yourself because this is kind of a deep conversation, but like when you base your self-worth off of how well you do in an exam, you're setting yourself up to fail because there will come an exam that where you can't do well. Whether it's the NEET, whether it's a practice test for NEET, or whether it's something afterwards, when you're doing whatever degree you choose to pursue, MBBS or anything else, there will always be some exam that you're not able to crack or some academic thing that you're not able to accomplish, but your self-worth needs to be made independent of that. And that will help a lot. Honestly, it will make sure you're not panicked during the exam. You're like, ठीक है, एक नहीं हो रहा है, okay, I'll skip this, I'll make sure I do the rest as well as I can, and then I'll come back to this. If I'm not able to do it, it's fine. So that's why handling exam pressure, in my opinion, stress and pressure during preparation, during the exam, it's of the utmost importance. It will be it'll be your deciding factor between a college you really, really want and a college that you don't want to go to at all. And this is an uncomfortable truth, but you need to be okay with doing bad in every exam. That means not just not just the NEET exam, you need to be fine with that also, but you also need to learn to take failure in your preparatory exams and to learn from them. So that teaches you how to handle pressure well. That's why I recommend writing as many tests as possible again and again, because that's what helped me more than anything else. It taught me how to handle everything that could be thrown my way. And the thing is, when you write the exam hall will not be perfect. You need to prepare yourself for that. My exam hall was near a cargo airport and there was like intense noise throughout the entire exam. We did not have total desks. We had like a half desk and those uncomfortable chairs. And at the start, I was very shook. I was like, oh my God, how am I going to write an exam in this situation? But I was fine because I told myself it's okay because I'd practiced in uncomfortable situations also. Not in those specific situations, but I knew how to handle myself. And I'd also practiced the paper in a lot of ways. For example, when we solved a mock paper in my coaching, sometimes we wouldn't be allowed to tick on the paper. We would have to flip back and forth between the last page and the question page and write the options. And then sometimes we would only be allowed to tick. We would be given no rough space. Sometimes, in the month before NEET, we tried mock exams everywhere. We sat in we sat on the ground and wrote the exams. We sat outside and wrote the exams, like in a not a very good room on a bench or something. And then we wrote it in the classrooms, in different classrooms, in different conditions of light, because they were like, external factors should not affect you during your NEET exam. Anything that you know, you should be able to put it on the paper regardless of the condition. And again, I would recommend that trying out different settings in which you're writing the exam, trying out different patterns and different manners in which to solve it also, like your OMR bubbling, all of that also. You should try different patterns so that you know what you're going to do on the day of the NEET exam, even if there is some issue. All right. And about discipline and self-motivation. Discipline, for me, I find that a reward-based system works really well. I give myself a small reward. It doesn't need to be a big thing. This is tiny thing that I look forward to after studying if I'm not looking forward to studying. And I also take pleasure in the process of studying because it's very interesting. The things we're learning are things that have taken millennia to find out. So like just keeping that in the back of your mind and knowing you're doing something that will help you. You're learning something that not a lot of people have the opportunity to learn, and something that's very interesting will make you want to learn those things. And of course, motivation for medicine comes from within. You need to want to do medicine more than you need to want to do medicine. You cannot do medicine because someone else wants you to do it, because it is a long journey. It is not something that can be done purely on extrinsic motivation. You need to find your reason of doing medicine, why you're working so hard, and you need to keep that in mind, like continue going in that direction. That is about it. I hope that all of you do very well in your exams. Take care, don't get stressed, and do as well as you can. All the best.